Welcome to the world united. Welcome to the world united.
Spirituality and the environment. Our first speaker is Darryl D'Souza. Darryl's story of healing from 14 years of sickness within just 1 year of using integrative natural medicine has inspired millions across the globe to lead a better, healthier life. His book, Become Healthy or Extinct, on this topic is read in close to 200 countries. Darryl was the secretary of the World United Doctors and Healers Association for 5 years when he curated and convened three of their continued medico-spiritual education conferences. Darryl is also an organic farmer, an environmentalist, TEDx speaker, founder of the Earthkeepers Connect, ambassador of the Vegan Nation, and convener of the New Earth Summit. Thank you so much, Darryl, for being with us today. And your topic for today is Dharma and the Earthkeepers. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Samyukta. Namaste to all, Dr. Yugandhar, and all the wonderful people at World United, especially the team who have organized this wonderful event that has been going on for quite some time. I am privileged to be here on this stage, and pranams to our heavenly teacher, Mahavdar Babaji, as well. So, first, I wanted to share about this word dharma, which is duty, and not the conventional term that we use dharam, which most people associate with religion, which is put into a certain format and all for the benefit of people as a set of rules, regulations, etiquettes printed in, books and coming through the spiritual heads of various organizations across the globe. But what I would like to share a little more about is this word dharma or duty. And also another word, sanatan, which means which is continuously present or perennial. So I'm not talking about sanatan dharma right now, but just the meaning of these two words. So what is the perennial duty of, for example, human beings, other beings on this planet, the sun, the moon, the stars, right? So duty comes from a responsibility or a return. First, you start receiving something, or you're in a particular environment and in a particular society, and you get something first. And because of that, you have a duty to fulfill in a reply or a response or a thanks to what you have been given. So we can call it a symbiotic relationship between society and yourself. So if we examine what is duty for human beings, of course, for every individual, it starts right at the time of birth. When you come out of your mother's womb, we take some things from this place, from Mother Earth. So the child's first breath, yes, we take oxygen, and that keeps us alive. The next food is breast milk from the mother. Now, if you notice that the air, it is one of the five elements of nature. Even mother's milk has got the five elements of nature in it: earth, water, fire, air, space. But scientific examination will tell you that the water element is the highest. For people who are more into the depth of it, like I'm into nutrition and into molecular sciences, they will be able to tell you, yes, first highest element is water, then is earth, then is fire, air, and space. Some people have also experienced a little bit of fire element, drinking too much of milk and getting acidity. So that's internal fire building up in the body. Now, from that mother's milk, these five elements go into the digestive tract, they get into the bloodstream, and the intelligence of this body that has been made by God or the cosmos or nature. It takes the water element and mostly puts most of it in the blood or the cerebrospinal fluid or the lymphatic fluid. It takes the minerals, which are the earth element like calcium, magnesium, puts it in your bones. And it's got lower percentages of fire, air, space, which are distributed in the human body. After that, if you eat any fruit or a nut, for example, a nut has got more earth element. Then the next will be, depends if it's a ground nut and it's got a lot of oil, then you can say water element, then fire, air, space. So from this, I'm just trying to explain one thing is that all through our lives, we receive these five elements, maybe in a finer form, like sunlight, fire element, earth element through food or through walking bare feet, earth element, water element, of course, through the water supply. And so we partake of all this, and life happens to us. And after life is over, as our body is put in the ground, we say all elements are returned back to the earth. So the body completely dissolves. So the story that is playing out is we are made of the five elements. We have to be thankful for it. We get our chance in this physical body to play out our story, our uniqueness, our evolution, what we do in society as work or in service or in art and music. And after this, we are going back to the earth. This, I'm just speaking ideally what human beings should be doing. But unfortunately, if you look at what the modern world is doing today, we are taking all these natural elements, but we are not returning them in their purity back to Mother Earth or even Father Sky. I would say, what are the components of Father Sky? It's the sunlight, it's the magnetism of the Earth, it's the kind of stars, moon, sun radiation that we get from outer. So it's thin energy. So, what do human beings do with the air element? Of course, we breathe normally and we give out carbon dioxide. That is what all other species on this planet also do. But they return it back in its purity, and carbon dioxide is recycled by Mother Earth and it comes back into the circle of life. But in the name of modern science and in the name of innovation and creativity, of course, creativity is a wonderful God spark within human beings. And we have it to the highest degree, more than other species on this planet. And I will share a little more about it later of being in the box and being out of the box. So human beings have this capacity, a high degree of creator aspect that can think out of the box and create and do things that were never here on this planet before. So we use that creativity and we take in the air. We're not only giving out carbon dioxide, we take it in and put it in our machines, in our cars, and we create all kinds of, polluting gases. So we contaminate the earth element. We've taken the water, not only drunk it and passed it out, but we've put it into carbonated drinks and we've created so many things out of water which have become instruments of sickness and pollution from all the industries that go as effluents into Mother Earth, contaminating the water bodies and the soil. So we contaminate the water element too. The earth element, everybody knows what's happening. All of the mining that's going on in excess, or the chemical based agriculture and fertilizer system, which is actually putting man made chemicals that are not organic. So we use our creativity, and it's not a bad thing to use creativity, but we have to see the whole organism and what each of our actions are doing to the earth. And the question is for every human being, what am I taking from Mother Earth and Fire Sky? And what am I giving back? So, this is what I call Dharma. Our duty was, like all other species on this planet, to take the elements of the planet and which are of God, of course. We have to take them in their purity, use them, and innovate and create, and then give them in their purity back to the earth. But human beings are the only ones who have violated Dharma. You will see all the other species taking in the five elements, returning back to the earth, and many species have got extinct, and you can't find any trace of them on this planet. But even if human beings go from here for thousands of years, you'll see plastic. You'll see so many things on this planet that were not natural molecules. Okay, so this is the first part that I wanted to say about duty. Now, people ask me, how is it possible that we can have a modern world and arts and culture and music and innovation and science uh, and not use this capacity of creativity? What is wrong in creating a 50-storied, concrete complex with air conditioning and an effluent system that is contaminating the sea? And different models of civilization. What is wrong with them? Uh, and how can you say that we can go forward without all of this work? And my reply is, well, we think that in civilization there were two paths, and one path was traveled by like the older civilizations or the indigenous tribes who are still there on the earth. They are living in the Amazon jungles. They are living in various jungles across, or whether it's in the Aborigines. And even till about 40 years, I remember my own childhood in Goa. We used to live a very natural life. I seen days where there was no electricity in my house. There was no piping, there was no taps, there was nothing. We used to just drink, take out water well, and all of the elements of our house were made of natural things. So it was a very low carbon footprint. So I see the indigenous people are an example. They have arts, they have culture, they have a beautiful society, and they live more with the law of God. And I say the law of God and God's spirit is present in every living thing on this planet. It's in their DNA. And that's why, all of these animals, they do the natural thing. And we also have law of God, but we have got this creative aspect. And when we talk of human evolution, it should be complete. Not only looking for innovation that will bring us modern comforts, but seeing the result of each of our actions on this entire ecosystem. And because we have missed that lesson, you are seeing a world today with so much of pollution, so much of degradation, so many health problems, so many shortages of natural resources on the planet. So, all the ancient sages and the rishis, they never made things in a very directive way that don't do this, don't do that. They always say cause and effect. If you do this, this is what will happen. So at that venture in modern civilization, when we departed from, the organic way of living, some wise people did say that, this is going to cause pollution, this is going to cause depletion in the ozone layer. But the more creative people or the people with more money said, no, let us play out our idea and see. So free will has played on this planet, and it is also an offering by cosmos and creator. But now it's time for human beings to understand that they have tread down that path and they are learning the lessons. All of us across the globe are suffering and learning from that wisdom. And now many people across the globe are trying to align themselves with more eco-friendly, all of this environmental movement, low carbon footprint that's happening. It's because of this. So I don't see anything in a negative light. I see everything in even if we create problems, it is because a bigger solution has to emerge. So that's one message, that yes, we have to respect the indigenous tribes of the world. They have been our teachers, standing in the background for all this time that we have said, no, we know what we are doing, we are modern, we are innovative, we've got intellect and all that. And they have been our teachers. Also, our other teachers are the plants, the animals, the earth, the water, fire, air, space. And we need to learn from them how to keep things natural, organic. So I'm glad that this entire humanity is going through these birth pangs, through the suffering of what we are experiencing now is coming new innovation, new ideas, deeper lessons learned, and this path. So, Sanatan, the word Sanatan, perennial, right? We have forgotten what our natural duty and perennial duty was, and now we are coming back into that alignment. So, it's a wonderful learning journey. I see that, and the people who are, so many people are in the front lines and are researching and doing all of these things, showing, living by example, and teaching others too. And those people, I call them, and they're known across the world as Earthkeepers. So, who are Earthkeepers? They're people who are deeply connected, and so many people are awakening to that deeper essence of themselves. And it happens when you go in nature. If you live in a concrete jungle, in a box, in a city, with all air conditioning, without sunlight, without animals around, without trees around, you are disconnected from all the manifestations. I call all of these manifestations of God. They are our real teachers. So as you come into more natural environment, you begin to see and learn lessons. You can learn a tremendous lesson just from a rose plant in your garden. You see, the question to ask is, am I teaching the rose plant, or is the rose plant teaching me? Right? So the rose plant will teach you that if you want me to be red, this is what you need to do with the soil. If you want me to grow straight, then this is how you should prune me. Right? So the more we interact with in real environment, the more closer we will get to natural law and the laws of God that are playing out through all of these. So earthkeepers are those people who work very closely with nature and are trying to bring the earth back to a more healthier way where all the five elements get purified. So we're trying to, and this I'm also doing through an event that I just did the second edition of the New Earth Summit, and there we have all of these kind of people, and we have showcased solutions to our problems in health, food, farming, environment, sustainability. And this is, we're through this platform, we are sharing it with more and more people in Goa, in India, and across the globe, so that consciousness of people starts getting more into the dimension of uh, what is real life, what is holistic, what is symbiotic for this planet. And so many environmental organizations across the globe are innovating, thinking in this direction. Our educational systems are also going into the direction of becoming more experience based learning systems. And experience based learning systems work best in nature. So we're trying to create an eco community where learning happens in the field and not just on a, on a TV screen or just through a lecture or from a book. There's more of life and education in the open. And I see sometimes, if all that I will do in my lifetime is just helping people to get back to dharma, that is back to the understanding the natural laws of God, and all our actions, whatever we do and whatever we create, if we can help uh, do those things without contaminating these five elements in different forms, that would be, the single most, the best work that I could do. I would be doing it for the rest of my life, you know helping people understand what is natural law, and how. And there are some amazing communities. For example, at the first World Parliament on Spirituality, we had Daman Hor, and if you go to their website, you will see how they have organically evolved their community, and how it's such a beautiful place of arts, education, holistic, natural food. So if you go to their website and you surface through it, or You go and visit them, you will think you're in heaven, right? So this is what we can, this is what I'm talking about. We can have such beauty, such innovation, such holistic learning and education, and we can heal the earth itself. So I invite, everybody to take a deeper introspection into what you do from morning to night every day, and specifically this thing, what am I taking in its purity and what am I giving back to the planet? And I think that would be a great movement for people all across the world. It's a deeper introspection to keep things in a more natural form. Also, visiting these indigenous tribes across the world, I think that would be one of the most educative experiences for anybody. I say they have been our silent teachers in the background, and we need to learn from them once again, and we need to collaborate with them. Uh, I'm part of a movement that's called Mad House to Mud House, and that's where we are teaching people from uh, the urban people, who are living in these concrete jungles, because we know the repercussions of that. People who are living in concrete boxes, they are vitamin D deficient because they don't get, a sunlight. They're down in vitamin B12 because the natural bacteria that should come from food and groundwater and well water is not coming to their system. So anybody who's deeply into natural health knows the perils of living in those concrete boxes. So that's a wonderful movement where we're showcasing people that how you can come to the villages, support the villagers, create a local economy, work with nature, work with the land. And I think, every person, city-based person who aspires to have a natural, holistic, healthy life, I think they should, look at those opportunities.
Yeah.
So that was my message for today. It's a deeper introspection for everybody. What do I take from Mother Earth in its purity, and what do I give back? Thank you.
Thank you, Darryl.
Thank you, Darryl. It was a wonderful insight for us about what is our give back to this planet Earth, and that too at a time when we are all shifting, things are changing, and we have sufficient time for introspection now. Yeah, thank
Yes.
you so much. It was wonderful listening to you. Thank you for all the valuable insights. A lot of us are now opening up to asking the right questions also. So thanks for that.
Yes,
And
thank you very much.
this is a small token of our appreciation for you for spending your valuable time and giving amazing insights to all of us. A small token on the digital platform. The World United proudly presents Darryl D'Souza for being an esteemed presenter in the third edition of the World Parliament on Spirituality 2020 Asia. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you too so much. Love and blessings to all at World United.
Yeah. We'll move on to a little discussion. We have two speakers here, Darryl D'Souza
Yes.
and Ghazi Hassan.
Yes.
So we have been discussing about spirituality and environment.
Yes.
The fact is, environment itself is spirituality.
Yes.
But unfortunately, what we are trying to make people understand is environment is everything other than human being.
Exactly.
So everything other than human beings is called as environment, and this fellow human being who is supposed to be the custodian of environment is behaving in a different way because of his human greed, because of hidden agendas and ulterior motives. So much of damage is causing to the Mother Earth
Yes, yes.
by way of deforestation, soil erosions, desertifications, sinking of islands, climatic changes, so many types of environmental changes, global warming, pollution of all elements, whatnot. Every type of pollution that we are seeing in the present world, otherwise called as environment, is because of human mental pollution. The human mind has been much polluted, so much so that the whole environment has become extremely polluted. So now, Darryl, I have a question for you. We have defined what is environment, the way people are understanding, and what exactly environment is. The environmental pollution is only because of human beings, not by any mineral kingdom or plant kingdom or any animal kingdom.
That's
All
right.
the aliens,
Yes,
bison,
exactly.
Arcturians, terrestrials, mammals, everything was in a natural, homeostatic, harmonious way of living, except human being. So when the problem is with the human greed, when the problem is in the mental pollution of the humans, all the environmental activities whatsoever that we can do is basically inner transformation of mankind rather than doing something outside in the name of environment. How do we actually see these things and what are your insights?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ugandar. I completely agree with you that a pollution of the human mind has happened first. And I would like to share a little bit of history in a conceptual, but we all know that this has actually happened on this planet. And I go back to that point where I was speaking earlier of where natural communities and some smart people who talked about modern innovation and science, they started departing and creating a different reality on this planet. So one was the indigenous natural living people in the forest, and one was what started coming out as societies with certain groups of people who said wanted to express their creativity in a different way. And
Exactly.
so their ideas, and they mostly, when people get together, you see, they start making a club and they make business out of that club. So I see that businessmen started to separate from nature and say, okay, let's have a club, let's have it in a room, let's represent all that's outside inside, in this room, make a model of our future and create it. So right from that time I have seen that, and we've all experienced, that these these businessmen and the version of what they want to do, of course it's good to create a business, but if you can do it with good ethics, with the final goal that we are doing here business to benefit all the people of the earth without the damage, now that's the higher step of evolution, which some people did not want to take, or let's call it their experiment. Okay. So they just wanted to create a business, give products and services to people without looking at what if there is any negative damage happening to the environment. And so they created what you call modern medicine, which we have seen in the last, it's getting more and more common nowadays. For example, allopathic pills that people keep on popping for high BP, cholesterol, diabetes. Now you can get rid of all of these illnesses just by integrated natural therapies. And the reality is being experienced. Yes, with natural medicine, all these things can be cured, and those chemical based medicines are not required for so many illnesses. So we have a history where businessmen created certain products to facilitate their business. And on top of that, they made educational institutions. And in their schools, they kept on teaching humanity and people all across the globe this different reality. So I think that's the point of contamination of the human mind, where we know that human beings in general, they do have some little bit lethargy and laziness they would like some other people to do work for them, that is take care of their health, help them to generate money, try to create business for them. So people got together and started doing these new creative things, but they started following certain actions for business without care of the environment. And they made their textbooks, the institutions, the schools, and all of modern civilization has got that education. And the textbooks do not teach what I just spoke about. That should be taught in, I think, in the junior school of your actual dharma. So that's what I think has played out through this system. Uh, People's minds have got polluted with this kind of education that has not cared for the environment. And nevertheless, we progress further to a point where we have uh, done our experiments and seen such a world that's getting polluted and destroyed in so many ways for the environment that also affects our health. Human beings are the only species who make food. There's no other species on this planet who makes food, and we make them in packaged containers. We uh, put such chemicals in them that causes cancer in the long term. All of these food formats, they cause depletion of minerals on the earth, sand from the sea. They pollute the environment, the cutting of trees. So these simple deviations. So people are learning these lessons now from the mainly from the people who were most adversely affected by this. So I went through a lot of years of sickness, and only when getting back to natural food and herbal medicine, that's when I healed. When we talk and explain to people, they start learning a new lesson. They experiment with it and they understand deeper truth. So for me, this has been kind of a journey. I think entire humanity is going through this journey, and that's why we have all the unlearning conferences, where you're unlearning all of these things that are damaging to society, people, and the environment, the planet, and you're learning new holistic ways. So yes, all of us should participate in it. It's a great movement, and it's only when people get a lot of pain that they take the opportunity to learn. So I'm seeing pain also and suffering as a great transformation tool for human beings all across the world. And it's my greatest thanks and gratitude to all the teachers in the world today who are bringing out these holistic systems of education, who are creating platforms such as yourself, Dr. Yugandhar, also to bring all the people who have experienced the most adversity in their life and have come out through their deep work with a deeper solutions, deeper wisdom, and sharing it with people all across the world through this wonderful platform.
Thank you, Darryl. Adversity is always the greatest teacher. There is no greater teacher than adversity. Here with Mr. Gaji Hassan. Please unmute yourself, please. Darryl D'Souza came with a wonderful point. Please unmute. So, business.
The same situation also here, sir.
Just a moment,
Like
please.
this.
Just a moment. Business and power mongering, wealth accumulation, and monitoring everything and everyone from the point of controlling human minds, directing and diverting the human thinking in the desired tracks of outcome seems to be a major detrimental factor not only to the environment but in all arts and sciences. So how do you see, because environment is most important, unless elements are in harmony, human beings cannot live. So the most essential dimension of life, most essential dimension of thinking, most essential dimension of activity, human activity, should be in terms of environment. So unless all elements are okay, we cannot be okay. So from this dimension, I would like to ask you, how do we think together we can deal with this increased human greed, increased business motives at the cost of environmental damage? How do you think we can do it practically? Over to Gaji sir.
We have some hilly area. It's next to the Indian Seven Sisters countries. They're actually the modern development of the agriculture. It's destroy the whole things, because they're the things Darryl told that the way the indigenous people doing they're the shifting cultivation and the zoom, we call it the zoom cultivation, that was very good. And the season by season they cultivate that things. It was never create any kind of the problem with the environment. It was a very peaceful, yes. But the the environment policies and the others, the uh, government official, they're thinking it's a very good place to cultivate in the modern and that is the commercial cultivation like this. So they impose it that type of things like. So they are the it's all over the world that things happen in the the when we had a big crisis in the the green revolution time. It was started that time, but after that its effect was so bad like this. So that the total that things is abolished. Even that the indigenous people only the except one or two that the people also they forget their previous and their traditional way of cultivation like this. On the other hand, the other part of the plain land, the North Bangladesh, there are also the indigenous people, like plain land. So they had a lot of the fight because they had problem with the land and land rights and other, but they not give up that things. They do that thing. Now that the big things, because we are because a lot of people are talking about that organic way of agriculture and others. So a lot of the seed of the indigenous varieties, that things is almost gone like this. So that the same scientists and other, they're going to the indigenous people, yes, to mix up there, then finding out and again to revive that things like. So it's always I'm not talking about the traditional everything was good or bad like this, but the traditional still and the 80% things is the very good. Yes, even the in the indigenous medicine also, because the malaria then other things, they not go for the very high dose medicine like that. They're finding out the food for the flora fauna. They're finding out a lot of the way like this. I mean that people also know. I mean that it's not totally abolished, but people know that which are the things which can cure that things. But it's that the it's a matter of the empowerment, because that people, those who are doing that things, they're not that much empowered, and they're not put in the any kind of the dirty politics and the spectrum. They're outsider like this. For that thing is. But anyway, that type of talks is still going on in here. Because yes, and of course the Darren, by what he told, that same kind of situation in Bangladesh. I mean, though we are land is different, but I think the more or less I found he's talking. Yes, a lot of the things he actually focused. Okay.
Thank you, Gaji Hassan sir. And here with the question to both of you, to begin with Darryl D'Souza first. Now, so many people across the world, every given country, in every given tradition and tribe, there are people who are working, fighting for environment in different sizes, different degrees, different scales, depending upon the different types of environmental issues that they are having locally. The fight, agitation, protests, whatsoever, are most often dependent on local issues rather than global issues. When it comes to global issues, there is no protest, there is no agitation. It is only closed room, boardroom discussions, boardroom analysis and assessments, finally only to be dominated by the business needs and business trends. So all the activities whatsoever are happening at a local level. We are addressing all the issues of environment, mainly, majorly, primarily at a local level than at a global level. Because a person living in one country cannot have any access or right to do anything else in any other nation, right? So
Right.
we can't do. We can only do where we are. That too, for larger countries like India, or China, or Russia, Brazil, USA, whatsoever that we can do is most often local. Only the scientific community, only the environmentalists who are much known, reputed, they are making people think instead of going in the direction of protest and agitation. The energy is not, doesn't seem to be more converged or more sufficient. The energy that is required for a global change doesn't seem to be really sufficient or really converged, because the issues are many and it has to be addressed from different platforms, different communities. And who is going to listen? Who is going to take direction? Who is going to take decisions? Finally, the governmental heads only. UNO or WHO or FAO or whatever wings of UNO are only listeners. Unless the energy in the public 7.5 billion population is awakened at a global scale, no real change, no real outcome on a wholesome basis appears to happen. So in this scenario, we all are trained, we all believe, think globally and act locally. But how to act globally as well? We're acting locally, yes. But how to act globally? Because the pockets of so many people, though the networking is there at a national level, at a global level, but still it doesn't seem to be sufficient. How to actually address in a practical way, how we can do it. Any insights from you, both of you, Darryl D'Souza and Ghazi Hassan? Based upon your insights, we can draw some conclusions.
Yes, doctor. Yes, I see this trend there in the world, and one thing is that for example, at a bigger level, there are corporates and businesses and capitalists that have a certain science that they want to operate and maintain for their own business interests. So, and here, what we are sharing at more local levels. For example, in Goa, um, what we presented and what we're trying to implement over here, okay, is, for example, if we are talking about water purification systems or water saving water, so we have presented rainwater harvesting systems, sewage treatment systems with a natural bioenzymes and all of that, so it goes into the ground and waters all the plants. It does not reach the groundwater aquifer, or does not contaminate the well water system. Now, this kind of a problem, and this solution exists in so many states, in so many countries across the world. Uh, and similarly, like this, also, if we talk of natural homes or holistic education or natural farming principles, and creating products from your, assets that are there in your state in a eco-friendly way. So that's promoting local businesses, increasing the amount of local jobs, and making the local community also wealthy. So, like you rightly said, action happens by people, and this is what I've seen. Action happens by people on the ground in their state. And many times the lessons that they are, I mean, the sciences that they are implementing, they may have seen at a global level by an international speaker, or of course, the best practices in the world in, for example, natural house building or natural farming or permaculture systems. So I think the solution to the problem is that this will always remain that at the top level, people with money and power, they look to maintain the old system that is commercially profitable to them. And what we're seeing in the world now is people at a local level are understanding that because of those systems, how their soils are getting damaged, how they're having unhealthy lives, packaged food products is taking over the world, which is causing a lot of sickness. So people are acting at it locally. So they are making many times the innovation comes from global leaders or global pioneers in the industry. They take those principles and they apply it locally. And I see this as, and this is the objective of our summit also. We're not only creating an ecosystem and a solution for the state of Goa, but we are proposing it and sharing it so that it can be implemented in other states in India. And the same thing applies to thousands of states in thousands of countries, and more suited for, third world countries. And so the solution is a little bit different for the first world countries and more developed countries. So what I see is that these real solutions implemented on the ground need to be shared more on a global scale. And that's where, and that's one of our themes is people helping people, because people are the most affected by the, negative outcomes of polluting industries or bad food products, or, and they are cleaning it up. So I think the most important factor is the best practices in any domain of work or, utility or goods need to be shared all across the world, and that's the kind of, unified movement I think that happens for the whole world. I'll just give an example in Goa. So Aam Aadmi Party people got in touch with me and were asking me to, also because they knew about my work, and they said, why don't you support this, because we are into also supporting green initiatives. And I said, see, I've heard of, the Mohalla clinics in Delhi, but please understand, in Goa, we have got a very good group of people, and we have proposed in the summit making over 100, close to 1,000 integrative natural wellness centers in the state. Okay, and that movement is going to go forward, and it is going to be best practice. So this is the way in which people can get together and propose the new systems and take them more public. And this is the way also showing the administration. And of course, I'm sure any administration of any country will be open to, if you're bringing an innovative solution that works for the people, that takes lesser, finance, that keeps the system organic or cleans up the environment. They're all open to that. So we're also working with the approaching the panchayat, and we will be approaching the health department of Goa also to take this into consideration. So that's the way I see how local people, and of course we can collaborate with uh, people across the world who are developing this sciences. There are so many places in India, and the World United also has been hosting integrative mind body spirit sciences for so many years. So this is the route that I think innovators can share, and people who adopt, they can also share, make the knowledge more and more common across the globe, so that anybody in the globe has access to it and can implement it locally.
Yeah.
And we follow this model of local self-sustained economy. So that is where smaller businesses set up and look after the interests of their own state, as opposed to big conglomerates or transnational corporations or huge capitalists trying to use resources of, certain states, and put them at a disadvantage and not bring the money back to the people locally. This is what we are seeing all across the world. So I think it can be done, and it's already happening in a good way through people taking science, innovation, their efforts forward, and publicizing it like an open source, so anybody across the world can take and utilize it. So I look at this as a mechanism of global transformation to creating a better, eco-friendly, green, sustainable, symbiotic future for people across this planet.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. D'Souza, for wonderful insights. Yes. Gaji Hassan, please unmute, and same question to you. We are all conditioned to the idea of think globally, act locally, but we are not thinking in the reverse direction. We have to think locally and act globally as well. Both directions are equally important.
Yes,
So,
yes.
not only a top-down approach, but down-to-top approach is also equally important.
Down-to-top approach, exactly.
Need to get
exactly. But the things is like that. A lot of the things actually that when the international groups is focused on that things, because we have a huge massy area in Bangladesh. It's called we call it the Haur. There the biodiversity is totally gone because there is some kind of the trees which is totally abolished. I don't know. Maybe there's some natural climate conditions and like this. So when the IUCN and other they started in a small circle that things, because that area is also the area we call the Ramja Convention site of Bangladesh. It's a huge area, water body. So after that, there's some local initiative. They took place like this. They somehow managed that type of the hijol trees and the other trees like this, and it was now it's in a good shape. I'm not telling that it's recovered the all like this, and all the international groups introduced them there. Some the floating garden, which is new there. I mean, before that there was no floating garden.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ghazi Hassan and Darryl D'Souza, for throwing light and so many insights on how we can go about in regard to environment. But the World United always believes that growth doesn't happen in isolation. Growth cannot happen in a separatist way. Growth happens in an interrelated, because everything is interdependence, and growth is always wholesome. We have invited people from different expertises, be it education, environment, youth and women empowerment, arts and culture, health, politics even. Politics is very important because all the decisions are made in Delhi, the boardrooms of Delhi, the boardrooms of Beijing, the boardrooms of Washington, the boardrooms of Moscow. So what we are suffering are because of the boardroom decisions in those key areas. So the apical most leadership in the form of politics, governance is also important. They need to be transformed. Unless all the leadership models are transformed, the real change cannot happen. The reason why the World United emphasizes the wholesome growth by way of inviting experts from different dimensions of growth, so that the evolution of human consciousness and protection of the earth and making the present world a better place for the next generation to live in a better way is our main motive and intention. So thank you very much, and let us call it a day 4 of the World Parliament on Spirituality, Asia chapter, the 3rd edition. So thank you very much, the speakers Darryl D'Souza and Ghazi Hassan. Thanks a lot,
Dr. Uganda.
Very precious time. Thanks for joining here on the board. So tomorrow, all the viewers, we are going to have the last day of the Asia chapter of the World Parliament series, and also at 12 p.m. I request all the speakers to join at 12 p.m. on track 1, and also I request all the viewers also to watch on the last day of the World Parliament series. In the valediction, we are going to make some major announcements about the conclusions that we have drawn from all this series of 6 world parliaments with more than 1,000 speakers from almost 180 countries. So this is a big feat we have done. It is a constant work and constant focus for almost 170 days of constant activity by so many people spread out during the corona time. We are not assembled at one place called Hyderabad. people, volunteers, the moderators, the speakers, everyone is at different places, and thanks to internet, thanks to technology, we are able to convey our ideas and insights, and our growth and ideas and work and activity is not getting hampered due to any corona or any other upcoming viruses as well. Nothing is going to be changed. So thank you very much once again. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll catch up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ugandar. Thank you, Mr. Ghazi Weba. Wonderful interacting with you all and sharing.
Thank you.